Hello, welcome again to FAIRtax Power Radio. I'm Bob Paxton.
And I'm Ron Molero.
And we are the FAIRtax Guys. We're going to have some fun today.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I tell you what.
You might look at it as fun, but sometimes it's kind of painful, too.
Before we get into it, let's remind everybody how they can get a hold of us. TheFairtaxGuys@gmail.com is our email address. You can leave us a question or a comment on our Facebook page. You can do that, or FAIRtaxGuys.com. That is our website where you can watch the archived version.
And I believe there's a contact button on there too. So
okay, well, good. That we'll just check that out. So that's how. And we're still looking for slogans about the IRS.
That's right.
We didn't mention that.
Didn't mention that
on our last episode. I still like the one that says we take more before 9 a.m. than most people make all day.
Yeah,
that is my favorite one to date.
I keep checking our email, and we haven't received any more, but of course it is a holiday. I mean, we had the 4th of July here a little while ago, and people were out of town and so forth. But
well, before long, we're going to get a little package of stuff from the logo store and pick out a winner and send somebody something nice out of the FAIRtax logo store.
We got to do that because we keep saying we're going to do that. We got to do it.
Right now, I love that we take more before 9 a.m. than most people make all day. So if you've got a good slogan that describes the IRS, send it to us at TheFairtaxGuys@gmail.com, or you can leave us a comment on our Facebook page. Of course, if you do that, that's out in the public domain, and somebody else might decide to take it from you. But that'll work.
Before we get started, you want to do the Grassroots Corner? It's going to be quick.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. All right.
I'll get some more cheer wine.
Yeah, there you go. Grassroots Corner. Every week with the FAIRtax Friday, we have the Chairman's Report. We have a report on FAIRtax Power Radio, and Jim Bennett has his Grassroots Corner. Jim Bennett is on the board of directors for the Americans for Fair Taxation, and he's the Grassroots Coordinator. Well, he is recognizing Adam Yomtov. Adam is from New York. He's compared to us, he's a young man. He's been involved with the FAIRtax a long time. And this guy is a tireless advocate of the FAIRtax, and he's been very involved in all kinds of things. I'm not going to read this because it's too long, but I know from my own experience and my own interaction with Adam, now that the AFFT has moved their database to another company based in Washington, D.C., Adam has taken on the responsibility of doing the email blasts and so forth, and I have to say, he has reorganized FAIRtax Friday the way a little differently than the way Steve and I were doing it, and I think it's much better. I like it. And plus, that's just one of the things he does. Every time I read the minutes of the AFFT Board of Directors meeting, Adam has volunteered for something else. The guy's amazing. So hats off to Adam. He's one of our great volunteers, and everybody in the national organization and the various state organizations are volunteers. This is an all-volunteer organization because we believe strongly in getting the word out about the FAIRtax because, well, the FAIRtax is a good idea, isn't it?
It is. It's a really good idea.
And that's why we feel strongly about it. So thanks, Adam. Thanks, Jim. If you have some information on a volunteer or something you've been doing that you want to share with people, you can email Jim Bennett at jim.bennett@fairtax.org. jim.bennett@fairtax.org. Let them know what's going on, and you too can become famous.
Absolutely. Can we start having fun now?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, this is something.
Oh, this is going to be every now and then we will come across, and in this case we got to give credit to Karen Walby, who is our economist working with the FAIRtax. She turned us on to this particular website. It's called How Money Walks. All one word, howmoneywalks.com.
And I'll put this on here. It's howmoneywalks.com/IRS-tax-migration. You'll see it along the bottom here.
Okay, what this website has visualized IRS data. The IRS has been keeping track of how much money moves across state lines, who's losing money, who's gaining money, which state, and it also tracks it in population mode. You can look at it in terms of how many dollars have left this state or how many people have left this state. And people ask us all the time, how do we know that the FAIRtax will work? Well, here is proof that high tax states drive people and money away.
That's right.
Lower tax states, where the tax system is not as onerous as it is in other places, those places attract people and attract money. So we're going to look at, they've got a map of the United States here. You'll have to pop up a picture of this.
Yep.
And it has varying shades of green and red. And
Yep.
the brightest green are the states that are gaining the most. The brightest red are the states that are losing the most. And we want to go into a couple of, and this break, you open up one of these states here, you can click on this, and we really can't show this, but you go to the howmoneywalks.com, this IRS tax migration page, and you can click on any one of the states. It'll open that up and show you county by county which counties are gaining people, which counties are gaining money, and which ones are losing.
Yeah, now I just clicked New York.
You're from New York, so you can do New York, and I'm going to do Florida.
Okay, all right. So I clicked on New York. You should see that graphic up on the TV screen.
That
right
is
now
a bright red one.
Yeah, and you'll notice in New York, first off, New York is essentially losing lots of money because people are voting with their feet. All right. Over on the left-hand side says thinking about moving to New York. See how much it will cost you and so forth. New York lost $99.49 billion in annual gross income.
Adjusted gross income.
Adjusted gross income. Adjusted gross income. Thank you. From like 93 to 2016. All right. They've lost a lot. And then when you click on population mode above that, and you'll see this now, they've also lost a lot of people in that time. 1.7 million. Why? Well, and you can see on the map that, I'm familiar with New York because that's where I grew up. And the areas that are the brightest red, down around New York City and Long Island, Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo, the big cities and so forth. They're losing people. And now, let's go back to the main map. All right, we're back at the United States. And now, Bob, you're going to do Florida.
Yeah, I am, but I want to mention something I heard the other day. Governor Cuomo in New York.
Oh, yeah?
I never thought I would hear this coming from someone like Governor Cuomo. He seems to be realizing that tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich has an upper limit. And if you try to go above that, all you're going to do is drive money and people away.
Exactly.
He has finally figured that out. So hopefully the folks there in your state will be getting some relief, but I wouldn't bet on it.
So, anyways, so that's a red state. You can see on the U.S. map, New York was a red state. They are losing money and people. Now, in Florida,
yes,
it's a little different story.
Now, Florida is one of the states here in the country that has no income tax at all. And you look at the list of states that have no income tax. Florida, bright green on this map.
Yep.
Nevada, bright green on this map. New Hampshire is a lighter colored green. South Dakota is a lighter colored green. Tennessee is dark green. Texas, dark green. So all of these states that have no income tax, the only one that has any red at all is Alaska, and that's kind of I wouldn't live up there. It's just too cold. But Washington is bright green. Wyoming is a slightly lighter green. But all of these states that have no income tax are the ones, according to this How Money Walks thing, they are the ones that are gaining wealth. They are the ones that are gaining population. And what is so funny, if you look at Florida, I'll go ahead and pop that up right here.
Yep.
And over here on the left-hand side, you can see that it gained wealth. It gained $27.89 billion of New York's money. You see that? You saw how much was fleeing New York. $27.89 billion flew out of New York and landed in Florida.
Yeah.
They got $18.29 billion from New Jersey, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, all of that money flowing from those states down here to Florida.
Yeah.
Now, Florida actually did lose a little bit to North Carolina, a little bit to Texas, a little bit to Tennessee.
And much smaller amounts to Tennessee. Those are states that are competing with us because most of those don't have an
Texas,
income tax.
no income tax. Tennessee, no income tax. So that's it. Yeah, but you look at Florida, most on the county by county basis, most of that is really dark green, where you are gaining a lot of money and a lot of people. And as you looked in New York, let's see where in Florida the trouble spots are. Southeast Florida, Miami-Dade County, which might as well be located on Long Island. For the politicians that get imported down there, that is a bright red spot in Florida. Yeah. People are leaving Miami in droves. Money is leaving Miami. Right around Gainesville, Alachua County, just north of where we are. Now that is where the University of Florida is. Yeah, a really liberal college town.
Alachua County believes in its taxes.
They are. Yeah, my daughter lives there. I hear about that. Yeah. So they are losing folks as well. And where else? Leon County.
Let's see, what's in Leon County?
Tallahassee. That's where all the state level Congress critters are. So if you stay away from where the government center is, where the big university is, and down there in Miami as well, everywhere else in Florida, most of it is dark green, so they are gaining a lot of places. So there is the proof, folks, that low tax policies attract people, they attract money. High tax policies drive money and people away. It's right there in green and red and various other shades.
And Florida has gained almost 2 million people in that similar time frame.
Yeah, and Florida has also gained $156.10 billion. How much did New York lose? I don't remember. You have to call that back up again.
Go back. Anyways, their loss is our gain.
Florida gained $156.10 billion in adjusted gross income.
And I know a small portion of that move was my wife and I.
Okay, now this thing says
we're included in there.
That was between 1992 and 2016. Yeah. And these are IRS figures. This isn't something that somebody's pulling up out of this. How Money Walks people have put the IRS figures and kind of made your visual things out of them. But there's your proof. Why the fair tax beats the heck out of the income tax.
There's no question about it.
Easier income tax drives people away. No income tax attracts people. I love that. That's really cool. So again, this is howmoneywalks.com, and the page we're looking at is IRS-tax-migration. We'll have that up there. Yeah. So you can go up there. You can look at your state.
Now wait till after the show before you go looking this up on your computer. All right.
But it's interesting that the states that are in the darkest red, that are losing the most, where are they? They're up in the Northeast. New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, the entire New England area.
The cradle of the revolution.
With the exception of New Hampshire. New Hampshire is on the no income tax.
That's right.
They have no income tax in New Hampshire. Yeah. They are doing a lot better than their neighbors up there.
Live free or die.
Yeah, Michigan is bright red. Illinois is bright red. California, of course, is bright red. Yeah. So rather than going through all this, one state at a time, we'll just point you to the spot. How Money Walks. You can open up your state and see how much you're gaining or how much you're losing. But there is just proof positive that how tax policy affects population, whether you're going to gain or lose, affects wealth, whether you're going to gain or lose. Now scale that up to a worldwide scale, and instead of doing states within a country, let's look at countries within the world. The same principle applies. Oppressive tax policies will drive people and will drive money out of your country, and tax-friendly policies towards business will attract folks. You have a list there that is amazing.
Well, this. I started looking, for companies moving out, and they call it corporate inversions. All right. This article is from 2015. It's from World.tax. World.tax by Alexandra Ball. All right. A corporate inversion is a deal in which a U.S. company acquires or merges with a foreign one that operates on a similar line of business and shifts its domicile abroad to benefit from a more favorable tax regime. It's in the first sentence. They're doing this because of taxes. Okay? Now, I'm not going to read the whole article, but down here in the third paragraph, remember, this was in 2015. Although Barack Obama labeled inversions as unpatriotic, and the Treasury issued rules to eliminate such practices, U.S. companies still seem to be on the move. Yeah, because they're trying to protect themselves.
They are still going to do what's in their economic best interest.
That's right.
And sometimes it's in your economic best interest just to pay the penalty and go on.
Yeah. And so when the tax code gets too onerous, not only is it difficult and expensive, but then you got, on top of that, you got all the crazy regulations. They're tired of it, and they find a benefit by merging or moving their corporate headquarters outside of the United States. It happens, unfortunately, all too often. Now, we've also found that since 2017, when President Trump started ordering a reduction in the regulations, and they had the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which lowered some of the rates, all right, gave us tax relief, not tax reform, but tax relief. We saw the opposite. We saw things started to turn around. But I went on the internet and looked for, okay, what companies have gone overseas, and I found this article. This is amazing.
This will curl your hair.
All right. 10 iconic U.S. companies that have left America. This is from April of 2016. Chris Morris, CNBC.com. America has lost the right to call a lot of iconic companies its own over the past several years. Whether through overseas acquisitions or inversions, which we just talked about, in which a U.S. corporation reincorporates overseas following the purchase of a foreign company, names many people grew up with have flown the coop. All right, so let's look at some of these. I found this amazing. Burger King. Burger King no longer has its corporate headquarters in the United States.
You can still get a Whopper down the street.
Yeah.
But Burger King is now a Canadian company.
Yeah, Burger King, all right. Budweiser, their corporate headquarters is in Belgium now.
Well, that's actually Anheuser-Busch. That's the brewery that
right.
Budweiser is one of their brands. So all of the Anheuser-Busch brands. I think now that's not a product that I am really familiar with.
No, but still,
Bud Light, Michelob. I don't know what else they make.
We've seen
all of that
Budweiser commercials on TV since we were.
Well, I'm a NASCAR fan. Budweiser had a big presence in NASCAR for a long time.
Sure.
So I've seen that.
Now, there's a company called Medtronic. They make medical equipment. They're now in Ireland. I know firsthand that, not firsthand, but Ireland has, some years back, they lowered their corporate income tax down to about like 12.5%.
About half of what ours was, less than half of what was in the United States. Mm-hmm. So a lot of companies are incorporating in Ireland,
including the one that my youngest son works for.
Okay.
Purina, they're now based in Switzerland.
Yeah, that's the dog food, cat food folks.
Yep. McDermott, which is not a name that's well known, but they're a large construction company. They're now located in Panama. Seagate Technology. They make hard drives and so forth.
If you know anything about computers, you've heard Seagate. They make most of the hard drives in a lot of your computer systems here.
Yeah, and I learned a long time ago, there's really only like 3 or 4 manufacturers of hard drives, and Seagate is one of them. So this is a big deal.
It's one of the biggest ones, and they've flown the coop to the Cayman Islands.
Cayman Islands, yeah. All right. Good Humor.
My ice cream has gone overseas.
United Kingdom. They're now located in United Kingdom. All right. Frigidaire. Sweden. They've gone to Sweden. All right. Allergan, which is another pharmaceutical company, they're in Ireland. And Lucky Strike, they're now in England. So, I mean, these are names that have been around.
If we were doing countries of the world rather than states within the United States would probably be kind of red right now.
Yeah.
Again, in the red, for those of you who missed it earlier, on the How Money Walks site, states that are losing population and losing wealth to other places were bright red. So the United States is definitely losing jobs. I'm not sure about population. We've got folks trying to get in here. But they are losing wealth to China. They are losing wealth to all places that have, better tax policies. That's not the only factor in the equation, but that's a big one.
That's a big one, yeah. I mean, in that article, they they singly focus on the tax code as the reason for these companies jumping ship. And it's, I have to take...
Well, your corporate inversion by definition is seeking better tax treatment.
Yeah, exactly. And, President Obama can call it unpatriotic if he wants, but I don't think he really understands why people are doing this. It's the tax code, and the regulations.
Companies are going to do what is in their economic best interest.
That's right.
Even if their economic best interests tell you just, pay the penalty, whatever the government tries to charge you for doing that, and or the tariffs or whatever, and keep on doing it. You are going to do, every business is going to do what any individual will do. You do what is best for your own bottom line. What's going to make your wallet the fattest? And
so,
if that means you go overseas, because, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat here. If you have to go overseas for more favorable tax treatment, you do it.
Yeah, that's right. So what's the way out of this mess? I mean, how do we start bringing companies back into the United States?
Well, if oppressive tax policies drive companies away, I would think that friendly tax policies, where you have a lower rate and you do not have to spend... don't have to hire legions of tax accountants and tax attorneys. Your compliance costs, or in a lot of cases, your compliance costs, a business will spend more money just complying with the tax code than they will actually paying tax.
Yeah, so...
and all of that gets passed on to the consumer, by the way. So if you get rid of the corporate income tax, you get rid of just about all of the compliance costs that go along with it, doing business in the United States becomes much, much, much less expensive than it is now. And that is what's going to draw all of the people that are currently overseas. It's going to draw those jobs back to the United States, provide a higher standard of living for everyone, which is what all the politicians on both sides of the aisle say they want.
Yeah.
So if that's what they really want, all the politicians on both sides of the aisle should be supporting the fair tax, because that's what the fair tax is going to do.
Yeah, and only the fair tax is going to accomplish
this. And there's the proof right there on the Money Walk site.
Yep. Only the fair tax is the only bill. And in fact, the only fair tax is the fair tax. Okay, that's the only thing.
Copyright that.
Yeah. But we've talked about it. Bob and I have been doing this for 4 years, and we never get tired of it because we think it's very important. The fair tax really will help our corporations, which means, and remember, corporations are made of people. They have board of directors, they have managers, they have employees, they have customers. Corporations are people. They're not this nebulous thing out there. They're not a building or a group of buildings. They're people. And so if you make it better for corporations, you're making it better for those people in the corporations and their customers, whatever product or service they are rendering. So we need to help these people because it's a way of helping ourselves. And that strikes me. The fair tax is a way of helping ourselves. It's not necessarily a way of helping the people in Washington, is it?
No, that is so funny.
And that explains why it hasn't been done already. All right.
Randy Fisher pointed out something we saw the other day, a map showing the probability of your getting audited. And your probability of getting audited if you live right around Washington, D.C. is pretty close to zero.
Yeah. Oh, funny thing about that.
Yes.
Yeah. So
there's the proof.
Yeah. So anyways, it's the fair tax. Now, last week we encouraged you to go to your congressman, your representative, no matter if they're Republican or Democrat. Well, this is more information, all right? This is good information you can bring. If you want to see businesses come to your state and your area, you need to give them a favorable tax scenario. And they will follow. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, and as the states within the country are competing with each other, all of the countries within the world are competing with each other, and you want to be a bright green as far as the How Money Walks things goes. You want to have a friendly tax policy that will bring you population, that will bring you wealth. And I want to win.
Yeah,
we need to get the president on board with this fair tax. So he talks about winning a lot. Yeah. This will be a winner.
So, yeah. So, anyways, we need you to continue to put the pressure on your elected representatives, and not just at the federal level. I mean, your representative to the House, But
a lot of times there's a step ladder there. People run for office at the local level, then they step up to the state level, then they step up to the federal level. And if we can get people at the state and local levels to understand the fair tax and like the fair tax, if they progress further up the ladder to a federal level thing, then we don't have to educate them. They're there already.
Yep, that's right. So
just don't think because somebody doesn't have a vote on the matter that it's not important to educate them on the benefits of the fair tax.
So we need you to help us out here. I mean, Bob and I are doing this every week, and because we think it's important, and now we need you folks to step up. All right, do what you can to learn about the fair tax. This episode about corporate inversion is very important. All right, like we said. If you want your job to come back from overseas, support the fair tax. These are going to move from a high tax state to a low tax state. The same is going to happen from one country to another. All right, and this list of iconic companies who no longer reside in this country is just astounding, and it's because of the tax code.
Burger King, Budweiser, Purina, I mean, those are names everybody knows.
Yeah.
Seagate Technology, something the computer savvy would know. Good Humor, anybody who likes ice cream goes there. So, I mean, these are iconic that started.
Frigidaire.
They were founded in the United States, and they moved, in other words, our tax policy in this country drove them away, or a more friendly tax policy in another country attracted them. So why don't we want to be one of those friendly places that's attracting people rather than throwing them out?
Well, we know the obstacle.
Yes.
All right. The obstacle is Congress.
Congress critters who are addicted to the payroll income tax system.
Yeah. Yeah, so
because they milk it for campaign cash.
And that's where we have to concentrate our efforts. Okay, so here's more information for you. All right. I've got a catch in my throat, so you're going to have to take this. Wow.
All right. Again, we'll remind you that our email address, thefairtaxguys@gmail.com. If you've got an IRS slogan that you would like to submit to us, we got some real good ones. We're going to send out something from the logo store to our winner here before too much longer.
Yeah.
We don't have a published deadline on this. I guess when the submissions dry up, we'll pick one that we like. And speaking of the logo store, they have got all kinds of goodies there that you can get. Get yourself some palm cards or some prebate cards or a shirt or a hat or an umbrella or whatever else they may have there.
You can get a package of palm cards like this and keep them on hand. My wife also has, she also keeps several of these in her purse, and I usually try to keep in my pocket. We have these nice little items. We call them the prebate cards. As you can see, they're the size of a business card. Basic information on fair tax on one side, prebate schedule on the back side. You can keep them in the shirt of your fair tax shirt, the pocket of your fair tax shirt, hats, jackets. There's all kinds of things. I mean, surely you can find something when you go to fairtaxlogostore.org. Okay. Fairtaxlogostore.org. Find something there that you can purchase and demonstrate your support of the fair tax. It's very important.
And help us spread the word about FAIRtax Power Radio. Point folks to the FAIRtaxGuys.com where the video archive is. Some of the audio archive is as well. The Facebook pages where we stream live. Even though the video portion is pre-recorded, the comments as these things are streaming. We're online. Randy Fisher's online with us. Sometimes Jim Bennett's online with us. Carrie Bowers is online with us on occasions.
Yeah.
So if you got a question, you got some pretty good resources here that can help you with questions and comments about the fair tax. And again, we appreciate you spreading the word to your family and friends to watch FAIRtax Power Radio.
Yep, and you'll find it like you said. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. It's on something called Periscope. Okay, those are video forms. It's also podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, and iHeartRadio, and several other sites. Then there's the Chairman's Report, which is not only an email every Friday, on FAIRtax Friday, but it's also a YouTube video, a very simple YouTube video, and now it's a podcast also. And the Chairman's Report is also on Spreaker, iTunes and iHeartRadio.
Yeah, now this is a weekly article written by Steve Hayes, who is the president of Americans for Fair Taxation. It's 8
to 10 minutes.
Takes about 7 or 8 minutes to read one usually.
Yeah, whereas Bob and I handle general subjects, Steve takes one particular item on taxation and drills down deep into it, and really figures out why it's doing what it's doing, why the fair tax would be better. So it's good.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Fair Tax Power Radio. Again, thank you so much for watching and listening. I'm Bob Paxton.
And I'm Ron Malero.
The FAIRtax Guys, again, reminding you that the only fair tax is the fair tax. And once you understand it,
you'll demand it.
The fair tax does not hurt the poor and does not reward the rich because it's not a straight sales tax like the sales tax we already have. The fair tax creates a level playing field by taxing everyone at the same rate at the cash register, but untaxes the household up to poverty level. This means that those living closer to the poverty level pay a lower overall tax rate, while those living a lavish lifestyle pay a higher overall tax rate. Yet the law still applies to everyone equally. This is called the prebate, which reimburses every legal American household the taxes they will have to pay on the basic necessities each month. As those basic necessities vary by household, the fair tax untaxes you and not the purchases. This keeps tax lobbyists out of the picture and keeps you in control of what you pay. Do you think the prebate will be too expensive and act just like a huge welfare program? The prebate will cost less than half of what the current deductions and exemptions cost and operates just like the standard deduction you already take. It's your money. You're just getting it back each month rather than once a year. Everyone under the fair tax controls their own tax rate by deciding when and how much money they spend above poverty level, and thus how much they pay in taxes. To learn more, please visit fairtax.org and be sure to like us on social media to help educate your friends and spread the word.